Hey, e-commerce marketing podcast listener. Are you looking to increase traffic and sales to your website? You can do this by launching your own affiliate program. Just visit getosi.com and sign up for a free trial today. That's getosi.com. Welcome back to the e-commerce marketing podcast, everyone. I am your host, Arlen Robinson, and today we've got a very special guest, Dylan Kelly, who is a sought-after e-commerce expert who helps top Shopify stores stop leaking revenue with done-for-you email marketing. Dylan is the co-founder of the e-commerce email marketing agency Wavebreak and host of the Wavebreak podcast, Grow Your Shopify Store. Welcome to the podcast, Dylan.
Thanks for having me. Good to be back. I'm excited to do this.
Yeah, not a problem. Yeah, as you mentioned, of course, you were on the podcast previously about a year ago. And we're definitely excited to have you on. We're going to be talking about something very timely. You know, all our listeners are out there. By the time that this goes live, it'll probably be mid-October or so. And this podcast, we're going to be talking about Black Friday emails and email marketing via Black Friday emails, which is going to be on people's mind pretty soon because we're getting to that time of year. It's, you know, almost into the year 2018 and approaching Black Friday, and it's an exciting time for email marketing and for e-commerce businesses. This is really kind of the push season to get all those deals out and to try to get the influx of customers. But before we get into all of that, Dylan, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, how you got into what you're doing today?
Sure thing. Yeah, and like you said, like Black Friday, it's going to be here before we know it. It's crazy how time flies, especially once we start getting into Q4 here in e-commerce. Everything just flies. But yeah, once again, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And yeah, just some background on myself. Like you said, I'm Dylan. I'm the founder of a company called Wavebreak. We work with e-commerce stores, and we basically take email off their plate and turn it into a top revenue driver for them. We do one thing well, and that's email. And I shared my story when I was on last time, but for those who haven't heard, I'll touch on it again. So when I started Wavebreak, we were actually doing conversion rate optimization, and we were optimizing landing pages for Facebook ads traffic. And things were going really well until a summer. I guess it was years ago now. It feels like yesterday, but a couple summers ago, we were working with this really awesome client, and something bad happened. And what happened was all of their Facebook ads traffic dried up pretty much overnight. And this was because bigger brands entered the space, like think brands the size of like Nike, like that scale, like billion-dollar companies entered the space and basically drove up the cost of their ads. And it was bad. So this client went from spending six figures on Facebook ads every single month and reaping massive profits. And it just basically all disappeared. And from a traffic standpoint, it looked like they had just started their business. And I kind of started to hear stories like this over and over again, like whether it was Facebook ads getting more expensive or just totally like bombing, like in this case, or a lot of businesses, you know, years ago were built on SEO and search, and like with the ever-changing algorithms there, like things change and just your traffic could just disappear. And times have really changed. You used to have minutes to capture somebody's attention, and now you have a few seconds.
Right.
And these marketing channels just keep drying up every single day. I mean, if you think about what we're doing now versus what we were even doing like 2 years ago, like things are very, very different. Facebook ads are getting more expensive every day. Instagram's new update, it's not even a new update anymore, but the way Instagram is now is like organic growth just doesn't really work. You got to pay to play there. Google's ranking factors, like, I mean, they're changing all the time. I don't even know what's going on in the Google world. I used to do SEO stuff, but I mean, like, things just change so fast, not to mention all of the other marketing channels that have just come and gone over the years. And I was watching all this happen, and I knew there had to be a better way to consistently get sales without having to be dependent on your Facebook ads or your other marketing channels. And that's when I discovered email, because it's this list that you own and nobody can really take it away from you. And email, I found, is one of the most powerful and profitable ways to grow your e-commerce business. And it has the highest return on investment compared to like every other marketing channel in existence. And this is email we're talking about, which has been around for 20 years, like right. as a marketing channel, over 20 years, and it's still performing great. And that's why it's the only thing I do now.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's quite a story. And, you know, the customer that you were dealing with that had the unfortunate incident where their Facebook ads were just kind of, nulled out by that competitor, which is a tough story. And I'm glad you mentioned the fact that emails and a subscriber list is actually a really big asset. And, it was only a few years ago when it really kind of hit home to me. I was listening to a podcast, and it was a business broker that goes out and he helps people purchase businesses, and he facilitates the deals of the buying and selling of businesses. And one of the things that he mentioned as far as their kind of checklist items is the number of email list subscribers that you have. And so that's something that they look at, because that these days especially, it really is a true asset that can go along with the business. And you have to think of it, those customers that are in your list are potential, or those people that are on your list, whether they've purchased from you in the past or they're considering purchasing from you, it's they have a potential to do more business. And so that's why it's really a big thing these days. Now, like I said at the beginning, this is a timely episode because we're approaching the holiday season. We're in the October month of 2018, and we're approaching Black Friday. And for a lot of retail businesses, this is kind of where the magic happens, so to speak. Yep. Where, they really do all that they can to put as many deals out there and maximize as many customer sales that they can, especially, retail businesses. So why do you think email marketing is important on Black Friday?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Black Friday, like you said, it's a big deal. This is your biggest opportunity of the year as an e-commerce business, or your bottom line is going to suffer. And that fact, it might make you stressed. It might make you anxious. You might think, I just don't have enough time for this. I'm not going to get the results I want. You're worried about customer support and all of these different things. Then on top of that, you have these email marketing campaigns that it's a no-brainer, right? Like, you have to send these things, but it takes forever to write these campaigns. You might not know what to say. And all these things are true. Like, all these thoughts you're having are true. Because if you don't have a plan for Black Friday, you're kind of screwed. Mm-hmm. And the numbers won't be as good as they could have been. And depending on the size of your business, like, you could leave tens of thousands of dollars on the table over the course of these few days. And this isn't extra money that you're just like uncovering. Like, this money's there. All you have to do is put in the work, get things set up, and then just collect it. And that's why today I want to teach you guys how to put together an email marketing campaign that rivals the top internet retailers, and how you can do it without wasting a bunch of time. Because I know, especially this time of year, there's just so many things going on. This is the busy time, so I want to help save you some time and help you not miss out on that money that's just sitting there waiting for you to take it. But if you don't ask for it, you're not going to get it.
Yeah, that is so true. And one of the things also that I was just thinking about is it's something, like you said, that you definitely have to plan for, because you could be leaving so much money on the table if you don't take advantage of the Black Friday and the potential that's out there. And the thing is that happens every year is that these holidays just seem to come quicker and quicker every year. And before you know it, the summer's over. We're already in October, and you're like, crap, I've got to get my plans together. So, how does an e-commerce business begin to put together a Black Friday email marketing campaign?
Yeah, totally. So first things first, this is what I'm going to share is super simple, but this isn't a straitjacket. To get the best results possible, you're going to want to modify, adapt, and twist this strategy. And the idea is that you want to start nurturing your email list as soon as possible. I know we're kind of running out of time here because it is already mid-October, but you don't want people to just randomly get an email from you. You want them to be engaged with your emails already, which means about a week or so before the sale, start getting people excited. Start hyping it up. Like, I like to send an email letting people know that the sale is coming. And if you do this really well, you're going to get emails from people on the day of your sale asking like, hey, I didn't get the link yet. Did you send the link? And because you want people to be excited about your sale, because when they're excited about your sale, they're going to be even more likely to convert. And come November, December, you should really be emailing almost daily, just because you can't afford not to. The competition is fierce, which means you want to be like, a great subject line is awesome, but if you send your email and then 20 other brands just, send right after you, Nobody's going to see that no matter how good your subject line is. So you want to be in the inbox often. That's kind of like the first part of the strategy, which is like, don't just send one email. That's a big mistake a lot of retailers make. Like you get to Black Friday and they fire off one email. Here's our sale. That's it. They wait till Cyber Monday to send the next one. And it's just like, Right. The reality is like, it doesn't matter how great that email was. Not everybody is going to see it. And the volume has already increased. And you're like people, if you've built your brand the right way, people love your brand. Mm-hmm. They want this deal. They're looking forward for it. They can't wait for Black Friday because they get to get more stuff from you. But this time they get them for a special offer.
Right. That is so true. And I think one of the things also that I think rings true is you've got to send multiple emails, because at this time you have all of these other companies, all of these other retailers doing the same thing. So it's going to be a time where, maybe somebody is not really, an email person. They don't do a lot of emails, but this is going to be the time where they're going to get an influx of emails. And so if you're not sending, a larger volume of emails, you could get lost in the shuffle. You could get buried behind everybody else's emails. And, you never know. People could look past it. They could delete it. They may not really even ever get to it. Now, you talked about the volume of emails. How many emails should these e-commerce businesses actually send, and what really should they say in these emails?
Yeah, that's a great question. And yeah, follow-up is very important with these, because like you said, like you can just get lost in the shuffle, like not even trying to. Like you might think, oh, I'm doing my customers a favor by not emailing them. Right. But then they didn't even see your email and they're actually frustrated because they're going to buy it. They want to buy a Christmas gift for, Uncle Bobby or whoever. They don't want to pay full price, but they're going to order like whatever, double their normal quantity. But because they never saw your email, now they have to order full price, and you're getting a customer service email. They're all ticked off. You don't want to deal with that.
Right.
So don't just send one email announcing your sale. This is a big mistake. And if you run a 7-figure, 8-figure e-commerce business, like that's thousands of dollars per day that you're missing out on. Maybe even tens of thousands of dollars per day, depending on the size of your business. So as far as like how many emails to send, like it's really important that during Black Friday and like Cyber Monday weekend that you're in your subscribers' inbox almost daily, and sometimes twice per day. And here's what that might look like. So for example, you might announce, this is just a very generic example, but let's say Black Friday morning, you announce your sale. I'd actually recommend doing it a bit earlier. So maybe on Thanksgiving, which is the Thursday, the day before Black Friday, or even in the beginning of that week, just so then you can kind of beat people to it, beat your competitors. But just the idea is like, okay, send that first email announcing the sale, and then follow up. Like, don't just stop there. So if you're announcing your sale Black Friday morning, come Black Friday evening, it's like, hey, listen, our sale's ending. Like, this is Black Friday. This is it. This is your last chance.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's true. So what you're thinking is maybe start that week, Thanksgiving week, possibly. I mean, of course, maybe a Thanksgiving day, of course, definitely want to send out emails then. How early is too early when you're thinking of announcing that you're going to have a Black Friday special? Is it a too early time period? What do you think?
Yeah, you have to remember two things. Like one, you don't want to overuse your offer. So if you don't want to start November 1st and say, hey, it's Black Friday all month, 30% off. Right. Because if you send that same offer all month long, it's going to become ineffective. Like it'll work well at first, but it's going to die.
Right.
And so you can start a day before. I think at most I would start like the week of. So for example, maybe the Monday on the week of Black Friday, like I might start there. I've seen some brands do that and perform really well. Also, keep an eye on your competition and look at what they're doing. Obviously you want to be better than your competition. So ideally try to one up them somehow, not by giving away your products, but just look at their strategy, find the holes in it. But some brands do start in the beginning of November, but they do it differently. You don't want to, like I said, you don't want to overuse your offer. That's the last thing you want to do because then it becomes ineffective. So a baseline here, I'll give you guys a specific example, like for this campaign idea that I'm talking about, which is basically like, let's say we're going to announce the sale on the evening of Thanksgiving. So Thursday, we're going to announce the sale like, hey, Black Friday, happy Thanksgiving. We're feeling thankful for you as a customer or a subscriber, whatever. We're going to launch, our sale's launching early, shop it now, whatever. So that's Thursday. I would probably send an email out on Sunday beforehand, maybe even Monday or Tuesday, and say, hey, listen, our Black Friday sale's coming. You guys know this is our biggest sale of the year. You're not going to want to miss it. Stay tuned. Thursday evening.
Gotcha.
And then that just gets people in their head, even if they don't realize and they don't mentally like force themselves to remember, like it's in there, it's bouncing around. Like think about all the things in your head that you're worried about, and then you're brushing your teeth and you remember that one thing and you're like, oh yeah, that'll get in there.
Right.
And like I said, if you do it right, people are going to email you on Thanksgiving, like people in different time zones and things. They're going to be like, hey, listen, did you drop your sale yet? Because it sounds really awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that sounds like a great time frame. Like you said, Sunday, Monday, announce that you've got a sale coming. So, you kind of plant a seed in people's head. And so you already know they're going to get bombarded by a lot of other emails. But if you've planted that seed early enough, they'll be on the lookout for it. And they'll, especially if, you're going to have a decent offer, that's something that they will, they'll be able to look out for. And like you said, if they don't get it, they'll follow up with you. Maybe say, hey, what's going on with your Black Friday deal? I never got the email. And, they'll be a little bit more attentive than, if you didn't send out those early emails. Now, we're talking, of course, a lot about Black Friday. It really is a big deal for retail businesses. And, a lot of businesses these days, even those that aren't retail, take advantage of Black Friday and the sales that you can offer in the deals. But aside from Black Friday, when else should an e-commerce business really be sending emails on a general basis?
Right. That's a great question. So I would say all the time. And as far as like, if we just start with Black Friday, so I kind of shared when to send things for Black Friday. So you announce your sale on Thanksgiving evening. Black Friday, you send an email in the morning letting people know like, hey, here's a reminder, the sale's still going on. And then Black Friday evening, it's like, listen, the sale's ending, get in before it's gone. One thing I like to do here, like before we even get past it, is like on Saturday, maybe you extend the sale in the morning. Like, hey, listen, we got such a great response. We wanted to make sure everybody got a piece of the action. So we're extending the sale one more day, ends at midnight for real. And then you follow up that night and let people know, like, listen, we're serious this time. Like, this is the last chance and we're going to close the sale. Okay. So following up, once again, like extending the sale, that's super powerful. Sometimes these emails do better than Black Friday themselves. Right. Which is crazy. And then Sunday, I like to give my email list a rest typically, just because you've been emailing them like crazy the last few days. Mm-hmm. Just give them a break. And then Cyber Monday, follow a similar sequence. Announce your sale in the morning. Send a last chance email at the end of the day. Maybe Monday or Tuesday, you extend the sale. Just make sure you're in their inbox as much as possible. If you sell out of something, like a main product, you can follow up that afternoon and say, hey, listen, we sold out of our bestseller before we run out of everything else. Just reminder, Cyber Monday sale ends tonight. Get in while you still can, while we still have our products and we still have our discount or whatever the offer is. And then beyond that, as far as December goes, 10, 12 days of Christmas styles of emails do really well, where you feature a certain product or like a product category. So like 10 days of Christmas, like day one is this, like you don't even need a discount. And if you're concerned about the volume and you don't want to email daily, you can clump those together. So like every 3 days you send, 3 products or something like that. One thing that's huge are shipping deadline emails. Okay. And so coming up on Christmas, everybody wants to get their gift in time, but I don't know about you, Arlen, but I'm a procrastinator sometimes, and I'm waiting to the last minute. But then I get an email that lets me know, like, hey, listen, like today's your last day to get free shipping, or it's not going to come in time. These emails convert extremely well. And if you create these for all your deadlines, like for your free shipping, your express shipping, your overnight shipping, and if you even upgrade people to free shipping options, you'll see you don't even have to do that. You don't have to throw in a discount. You don't have to upgrade their shipping for free. But if you just let people know when the shipping deadlines are, that can be huge and produce some amazing results. Yeah, that really is, especially with Christmas, because everybody is the holidays are always a busy season and busy time for everyone. Everybody's running around. You're juggling vacations, you're juggling these end of year parties that people have to go to. You're thinking about your family, your gifts. And so, we're running around. And so a lot of times, like you said, people wait to the last minute. Like you said, you do, I do. I know everybody usually waits to the last minute. Yeah. And then if you're not careful, you may miss these deadlines. And so I think those are key emails, because if you say, okay, this is the last day to get free shipping, that's going to spur somebody along to say, okay, let me go ahead and get my act together. I want to make sure I get the free shipping.
and go ahead and get the deal.
Absolutely. Here's a magical Christmas Eve email that works really well for people who forgot a gift. Is if you have gift cards for your store on Christmas Eve, send an email to your list saying like, hey, I hope you have a Merry Christmas tomorrow, whatever. Did you forget a gift? Because if you forgot a gift, you can order a gift card right now and we'll email it to you. And it's like, oh crap, I did forget a gift.
Right.
Boom, you just got a gift card, which now maybe that person converts into a loyal customer who comes back and orders 2 or 3 more times.
Right.
That's another good email you can do.
That is, yeah. I hadn't really thought about that, but you're right. If you really ran out of time, you hadn't thought, all right, what am I going to get this person? Then, yeah, the gift card email is excellent because people are like, okay, you know, it's a little late, but I can still get them something, have them choose from this online store, and you know they'll be happy with it. I'm going to kind of shift gears just a little bit. We talked a lot about retail businesses and taking advantage of these Black Friday specials and emails for retail businesses. But in your experience, I know you deal with a lot of businesses, a lot of Shopify businesses, but in your experience overall, are these Black Friday emails appropriate for other types of businesses? And if, for example, let's say a service-based business, I'll use our company as example, OmniStar Affiliate Software, which provides a hosted affiliate software solution. You know, there's a lot of SaaS companies out there these days. What's your take on that? Do these type of emails make sense? Because, you know, we don't have inventory. We just have web-based software solutions. And there's a lot of other service-based companies like ours that, you know, I've seen take advantage of these Black Friday deals. What do you think? Is it worthwhile?
Absolutely. People are in a buying mood this time of the year.
Okay.
Their wallet's out, their credit card's in their hand, their phone is in the one hand, and maybe you just switch up the strategy a little bit. So Thursday and Friday, maybe they don't want to be thinking about work as much. Mm-hmm. So you hit them with your Black Friday offer, you know, a week before or the week leading up to it. But I definitely think it can be huge because you have this email list and so many people aren't taking advantage of it.
Right.
And you don't have to give away your product. Like sometimes, I mean, just think about your customers and their objections for not buying or not upgrading, and then just like take one of those away. Like a person who's not a customer yet is just like, you know, I'm not really sure. Like this is an expensive piece of software, an expensive piece of service. Maybe you just give away a free like if you're an agency, you give away a free strategy session or something. Mm-hmm. If you're a software company like you guys, maybe you just like, I don't know what, like maybe someone's just afraid to invest in the software. I'm not sure if this will work for me. It's like, right. Hey, here's, you know, some sort of solution that's going to combat that objection. You can definitely make it work for you. And just remember that this time of the year is on your side. Mm-hmm. People are trying to spend money too for like tax purposes too. So you can definitely get away with some things there as well.
Gotcha. Great. Well, I appreciate that. That's some good advice because I know there's a lot of listeners out there that are service-based businesses or software businesses like ours that, you know, aren't in the retail space but are wondering, you know, is it worthwhile? How can they take advantage of Black Friday? And finally, I wanted to ask you, you know, with email marketing, there's a ton of tools out there that you can send emails out to your list with. What tools do you recommend that you use on a daily basis, and what's your experience?
Yeah. So I would say it depends on your business. If you run an e-commerce brand and you're selling products direct to consumer, I can't recommend anything other than Klaviyo. It's just, I've used MailChimp, I've used basically every other ESP in the world, and ESP stands for Email Service Provider, which is just like the software you use to send emails. And I've used it all. And for e-commerce, Klaviyo is basically like the Shopify, right? It kind of blows the other platforms out of the water with its ease of use and the integration that it has with Shopify. It's just, you can tell it's built for e-commerce. Mm-hmm. If you're just starting out though, MailChimp is a great option. And if you don't run an e-commerce store, I'm a big fan of Drip.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm a little bit familiar with Klaviyo. Of course, I know Klaviyo, and I've talked to some of our customers that have used it. I haven't personally used it myself too much, but I've heard people speak very highly of it. So yeah, I appreciate that. And Drip is also another good one. And then MailChimp, of course, I know a lot of people have heard of. Very easy to use software. They're pretty widely distributed, so I know they integrate with a ton of things. So yeah, those are some great recommendations. And since of course we're now approaching the holiday season, things are getting a little lighter. People are starting to think a little bit less about business and about spending time with family and friends. So I got to shift gears here and just ask you one final question. What's one thing that our audience would be surprised to know about you, Dylan?
Interesting fact about me is that I used to hate burritos,
Okay.
but now they're legit my favorite food. I remember going it was years ago, but I remember having my first burrito and being like, that was okay, but like I'd rather eat a hamburger or something else.
Right.
And then I remember like Chipotle started blowing up, and my friends were always like, hey, let's go to Chipotle, and I'm like, all right. I didn't even know how to order back then. So I was just like, give me what he had. Like, I didn't even know how the order process worked at Chipotle. But like now they're seriously one of my favorite foods. And I go to Chipotle multiple times per week. There's a place locally here called Nito Burrito, which is like one of the best burritos I've ever had in my life. And I used to live in San Francisco, which has some of the best burritos in the world, like literally ranked on, I forget what website, but like food websites literally rank them. And like La Taqueria in San Francisco is usually ranked number one, like really good burritos I've had. And this burrito from this place locally called the Cowboy Crunch, I'm going to have to say it's a top 5 in the world burrito. That's a pretty bold claim, but I'm going to stand by that.
Wow.
If you guys want to debate me, you can come at me, but I'm gonna stand tall here.
Okay, that sounds awesome. I'll definitely look that place up. And I'm a fan of Chipotle burritos. They are really good. You know, I'm in the Orlando, Florida area, so I haven't frequented a lot of different places that sell burritos. But yeah, I will definitely check out that place that you mentioned for sure when I do get a chance. And and so, you know, lastly, I know you've got a lot going on your end with your business. I think you had mentioned that you got a little something special that you wanted to offer our listeners as well.
Yeah, so one thing I really like to do, as you can tell, is talk about email. And I love talking about email specifically with people who have businesses. And I'm giving away a free strategy session. It's not a sales call. I'm not going to try to sell you. I'll just give you actionable advice on how to apply this Black Friday email marketing strategy to your business. And to be completely transparent, the people that I talk to that I think I can help, I do invite to work with me, but I'm very picky and we're kind of running out of time. And I'm not going to do that unless I know I can make you back at least 10 times what you pay me. And whether we end up working together or not, you're going to leave that conversation with an actionable Black Friday email marketing plan. And you can reserve your call at wavebreak.co/strategy.
Okay, great. Well, that's awesome. I wish, I hope the listeners out there definitely take advantage of that, because I know you can impart a lot of knowledge, whichever way they decide to go. If they decide to, look into your services or not, I'm sure whatever information that you impart will be beneficial to them. And Dylan, so what's the best way to get in touch with you for the listeners that want to actually get directly in contact with you?
Yeah, so if you don't want to hop on a call and you don't want the free strategy call, I only have time for 8. So once I get 8, that's all I'm going to be able to have time for. But if you want to reach out to me, if you ever have a question about email, I'm happy to help you out. Just email me, dylan@wavebreak.co.
All right, that is awesome. Well, thanks again, Dylan, for joining us here on the e-commerce marketing podcast. We appreciate all the information on Black Friday emails and email marketing in general.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. It was great to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the e-commerce marketing podcast. Do you need to get more feedback and reviews from your customers and improve your customer retention? We have made it easy to do all of this with our advanced customer feedback software. Just visit getosi.com/feedback and sign up for a free trial today. That's getosi.com/feedback.